What is peacekeeping versus peace enforcement in IHL? Imagine a world where conflicts threaten peace and safety. How do international efforts differ when trying to restore order? Let's explore the differences between peacekeeping and peace enforcement in international humanitarian law. Both are tools used by organizations like the United Nations and regional groups to manage conflicts, but they serve very different purposes and follow different rules. Peacekeeping involves deploying soldiers or police to help keep peace after a ceasefire or peace agreement. These forces work with the consent of the main parties involved and are there to monitor, protect civilians, and support political processes. They are neutral and do not take sides. Under international law, peacekeepers are not considered parties to the conflict as long as they stick to their mandate and avoid engaging in hostilities unless in self-defense. If they do participate in offensive actions, they could become parties to the conflict and must follow all laws of armed conflict, including protecting civilians and prisoners. Peace enforcement is quite different. It involves using military force to make parties comply with peace agreements or restore order when consent is not given or has been withdrawn. These operations do not need approval from the conflicting parties and often involve offensive actions to neutralize threats or defeat groups that threaten peace. When peace enforcement forces use force, they are automatically considered parties to the conflict. They are then fully bound by international humanitarian law, which means they must distinguish between combatants and civilians, avoid unnecessary suffering, and treat prisoners humanely. Sometimes the line between peacekeeping and peace enforcement can blur. For example, if peacekeepers are given a strong mandate to protect civilians and use force, they might cross into peace enforcement territory. This change affects their legal responsibilities and how they must behave under international law. The key difference is that peacekeeping is based on consent and neutrality, focusing on maintaining peace and protecting civilians. Peace enforcement involves coercive actions, often using force to achieve political or military goals, and makes the forces parties to the conflict. Both types of operations are governed by international humanitarian law, but the rules they follow depend on whether they are acting as neutral peacekeepers or active combatants.